Okay, so today is quite a different video because the problem with everyone is that they're constantly trying to chase the next big thing. First it was Forex, then it's crypto, now it's futures, and this is what is keeping traders unprofitable. It's constantly chasing the new thing. But well, on another note, today we are going to dive into the world of futures. And no, we are not just dipping our toes in futures. We are going to go from not knowing anything about futures, which I know that a lot of you are feeling the same thing, into getting funded with a futures prop firm. So here's the plan. So this is my plan. This is me. He's a baby to futures. And I want to get to me with big muscles holding a $100 bill while having a Lamborghini. Yes, this is a Lambo. So, I want to get from here to here. Yet, we know that things don't usually work that well. The idea is that there are going to be steps in between. And these are the steps that I'm going to take. I'm going to learn the basics from futures. Then, I'm going to figure out a strategy. I'm going to backtest that strategy. I want to apply it on demo. And then I'm going to get funded with my funded futures. And this should allow me to have big biceps, a $100 bill, and a Lambo. So that is the plan. So now that we've laid out a plan, the only thing that we have to do is actually put it into practice. So first things first, we have to learn the basics from futures. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So in order to learn the basics from futures, I first had to understand what are futures. And that's where I watched a crash course on futures, which basically explained how futures work. But then I also understood that's not going to get me that far. And because of exactly that, I just started watching ICT to try to come up with a strategy. So I just stopped a 3 long hour session learning futures, trying to trade a little bit on TradingView, like seeing the sizes of the contracts that I was going to use. And then I had a problem. And that problem is that everything is a little bit more complicated than FX, but I do think that with a little bit more time, I will be able to get the hang of it. I also came across another big problem, but let me tell you that inside. Okay, so the problem that I've seen is actually similar in all the futures prop firms. But let's use my funded futures as an example because that is the one that I'm going to be using. In the account that I'm going for, in all of the accounts, the max drawdown is 3%. Which on the account that I'm going for, which is the 150K account, that is $4.5K. But the profit target is actually 6%. Or $9,000. And now some of you might be asking, okay, that is futures prop firms, which is true. This is futures prop firms in a nutshell. And that is why they are so much cheaper, by the way. And they also have trailing drawdown. Well, the problem comes down to risk management. Because if we keep these things in mind, we are able to understand that if 1R is 1%, I just have to lose 3 trades in a row and I lose the account. And I don't really want to have my future be based on my next 3 trades. But if I risk 0.5%, if you lose 6R, you lose the account, which I don't think is going to happen given the strategies that I've been seeing. And plus 12R, and you pass. This is going to be the approach that I'm going to take because the reality is I know that I probably can get to 12R before I get to minus 6R, and also keeping in mind the trailing drawdown, which is going to be a problem throughout this challenge, while I cannot really assure myself that I will get to 6R before I get to minus 3R. And so because this is not enough breathing room, this is the approach that I've chosen to take. So let's see where we get from here. Okay, it's day number 2 and I've come up with a strategy after looking through hundreds of videos. Okay, maybe it was like 10. I've come up with a strategy that I personally want to use. So let's go onto the sheet of paper and let me show you. Okay, so this is the idea. I'm going to be waiting for 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to wait for the market to manipulate if my bias is bullish. Then I'm going to wait for the market to sweep a recent low, give me a market shift, and then I'm going to either enter here or here. And the idea is to enter in 1 or 2 trades with 0.5% risk and try to slowly build on the account. And so that is really it. And right now it's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's go onto the charts and I'm going to try to apply it on a demo account. Always start on the demo account. Don't go for a funded account directly. It doesn't make any sense. So let's go onto the computer. So first minutes into the session and I entered in a trade and I also found a problem. Okay, so this is likely to be a problem, because if I'm entering in one contract, then I'm risking $520, and if I'm trying to risk 0.5% of 150 grand, that's 750, which means that I can't really be risking 2 contracts because that already goes overboard. So maybe I need to find a solution for this.
If that wasn't enough, we also had the result of the first trade.
Well, that's not really how I expected the first trade to go, but hey, I guess we learn.
Okay, first trade was a loss. It is what it is. I didn't let myself get down, and soon after we had another shot. My stop loss was barely tapped and the market shifted again, and so I set another entry, and for some reason in this one I was a little bit overconfident.
Well, my plan is for this to be a win. It makes sense for this to be a win. We had the shift away from the inverted fair value gap. We have an order block. We have everything to go for the highs. So I'm aiming for a 1 to 1.5. And if we can get this, that would be great. So let's see.
After a few more minutes of the market just ranging around, I had to go to the gym.
And I'll just let it be. I do have to go to the gym. So we'll be right back.
And funnily enough, it was when I was getting ready to go to the gym that the market started impulsing in my favor. Maybe that's the secret.
Okay, I'm getting ready for the gym and this thing is going up, which is nice, I have to say. We are going to move this to break even. So yeah, slow and steady wins the race. I think that's what I will have to figure out here.
And after a few more minutes, I had a decision to make.
Okay, I'm going to let this run. If it goes to the TP, then perfect. If it doesn't, then hey, it doesn't.
And after I went to the gym, the trade actually continued moving in my favor.
Okay, so the trade pulled back a little bit, but now it's running into a little bit more profit. It's almost going to TP. I have to run 40 minutes, and it's only been 7. So we'll see. I'll catch you back when I'm in the apartment. Let's see you soon. Okay, boys, you made a mistake. I don't know if you guys remember, which was like 30 seconds ago, when I said I'm going to hold the position. Well, I actually maybe made a mistake.
Okay, so you guys remember when we were around here, I was saying that I was going to hold for the highs. And the highs were basically the top, which is like nice to see. And the reason I closed it early is because I started seeing the retracement and I thought, oh, okay, like I don't want to be negative the first day, which is not the type of emotions that you should have, but bear with me for a second. It's my first time that I'm seriously trading futures. And so I noticed that the market came towards the 4-hour fair value gap, which is where I wanted to close the trade, and that I was still holding. And so I just decided to close because I didn't want the position to reverse on me. And again, I understand how counterproductive that is. Overall, I'm happy with the trade. I'm going to see how we are going to solve the fact that I can't really risk 1% when the stop losses are big, but I'll find a solution. And so the rest of my day was basically spent going through the charts and looking at what I wanted to execute on, if this strategy is even profitable. And the next day, I reached a conclusion.
Okay, so it's day number 3, and I think I have figured out a couple of new things. But first, let's change this to here, so it looks better in the video, so you can always see it. I don't even know the name of this tree. Yesterday, I was up until 4 a.m. And by the way, you can see it from the fact that I just had a bath and it looks crazy with my eye bags, which I don't even know if it's called eye bags, but whatever. And I was looking through the charts until 4 a.m. and I took a couple of notes down, and these are actually very important to the point that I've made a big decision today, but that comes after. So I noticed a very small amount of things that actually increased my confidence in this strategy by a lot, which is that if the market moves a lot before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, don't enter, because normally the market gets choppy after. It always gives nice sweeps or a 15-minute PD array tap. This is one of the big things that I've noticed, which is if there is no sweep and if there's no 15-minute PD array tap, the market is either going to be messy or it just doesn't provide an entry. I'm obviously a little bit more professional. I have the polo, I have everything, which means that today is the day. Today is the day that I'm actually going to start a challenge. And yes, now you can comment that this fit is immaculate. Cut to that camera. There you go. So today is actually the first day of the actual live challenge. I've done the exercises that I wanted to do to make sure that I know that the strategy works. I've done my research. I've done my research on the funding companies, which I'm going to go for my funded futures. They're going to be linked in the description, by the way. So we are going to go onto the computer and I'm just going to quickly purchase the challenge. Now, some of you might be saying, isn't that too quick to go for a challenge? And the reality is yes. But the reason I'm doing it is one, because I've been trading for 5 years. So I have everything already kind of in place. And the second thing is that this is a challenge. You guys want to see me taking the challenge. So I will.
And so it starts. I bought a challenge with my funded futures and we were up and running. Or so I thought, because I did make a mistake that ended up giving me a lot of headache a little bit after. Futures firms, they always are running discounts, so never pay full price. And by the way, there's a link in the description if you guys want to check my funded futures out. Okay, so there we go. This is our challenge, 150K, and now we just have to wait until our time is here and we'll start trading.
Okay, so you guys definitely remember, because it was 5 seconds ago, where I said that one of my rules for each day is that I will not trade if we had a lot of movement before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, look at this. We had a huge move to the upside before Eastern Standard Time. So the first day that I want to trade, there is no conditions for me to trade. So let's jump into tomorrow. Okay, so it's the last day, and I have to say, without trying to jinx it,
I absolutely jinxed it.
but it looks like a good day to trade. So let's get into it. Let me take you through what I'm looking for in the chart.
Time for a quick pre-market forecast. Okay, so the market is not looking too bad, I would say. We have this 15-minute PD array, and we just swept all-time highs. What I also see is that we tapped this order block on the 4-hour, so we're kind of a little bit stuck between the high and the low, but I do think that at 3 p.m. the market will shape up to do something. So the analysis is done. Let's get into trading. Few minutes in and I couldn't have asked for worse. And it's not because of the futures market. It is actually because I was running a trade on FX on a prop firm, and I was running 3% and I wanted to close the position, yet the platform was not working. And so the stress began, but I was trying to focus on futures. Bro, fuck off. Yeah, I was very focused. Everything was going through my head. I was a little bit stressed, but then a possible opportunity shaped up. I want to see this moving bearish from here and possibly then targeting this low. But now I'm not seeing anything here. It's quite trading a good amount against the trend if I want to do this. So I'll definitely be careful. Spoiler alert, I wasn't careful enough. Well, at this point, I start looking for shorts. But the thing is that for some reason, I wasn't able to enter in a trade. The broker was not allowing me to trade because it said that the symbols were not available. What does this even mean? I got the account. It's a futures account. Why don't I have anything? And at this point, I'm stressing because not only is my FX trade going into negative, but also I can't even trade this challenge. And so that's why you can see me looking all over the place, going onto Twitter, asking some questions. But then luckily the CEO of my funded futures, Matt, came to save, and he basically told me, hey, you didn't purchase the data or the agreement for the data, and so you weren't able to trade. And he quickly did that for me, and he told me just refresh the page, and then it was finally working. So it's time to short. We are in our first position after we swept the highs. We came towards the highs, swept it again, switched market structure here, and now I'm looking for downside and for the market to look for sell side liquidity. Okay, so we are in our first trade, so now it's just about waiting to see the outcome. But the outcome wasn't looking too favorable. Looks like we're reacting out of this order block. This is definitely not looking great. Oh my god. What a great start. Not only was the short not looking good, but also because of me being short, I did miss one of the best trades that I could have taken today. Yeah, that was a loss. After this loss, I was rationalizing what the market had done by missing out on a perfect long, but at the same time, not knowing what is to come, because it will get worse. And then oh my god, this was such a clean long. Now, am I going to chase this? The reality is no, I'm not going to do that. Well, that was a lie. I'll take this trade with a stop loss here. I'm definitely chasing, which I don't like. Yeah. So this trade directly went into drawdown, and then I had a decision to make. Should I close the trade? I definitely should, but now my ego is involved. I'll close this trade. So definitely not what I was looking to do. Now I'm chasing, now I'm being emotional, but it continues. We have the fair value gap here. I don't like the fact that I'm chasing it. This is not good. But it didn't take long for me to enter yet again. So I'm back in, but this... Yeah, exactly. I knew what I was doing. I was chasing it. The difference here is that the market this time actually moved in my direction for a little bit. It allowed me once again to manage my stops to around minus 0.3R, and then eventually I was tagged out for the minus 0.3R.
Okay, so this was probably the worst start I could ask for this challenge. I was not expecting that, and I'm not too happy with the way that I traded today. And I knew that I was being emotional. I knew it. I simply got stuck with my bias, and because of that I just took 3 losses. 2 of them at least were reduced. And I was able to understand that I was being emotional, and because of that I did manage my risk. But the fact that whatever happened before was affecting me in the market right now is also not the best. I guess this gives you a realistic expectation of what it might be to go into the futures market. So if the feedback is good, then I will make sure to do a part 2 and possibly part 3 if I get a payout. Make sure to leave a comment with this emoji and what you liked the most about this video to be in for a giveaway for my funded futures, which by the way, make sure to check the link in the description. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode, I guess. Peace.